Okay, first one. 1 minus square root 3i. So you want to graph it on the complex number plane to see what this vector is pointing to. 1 negative square root 3. 1 and then square root 3. All right, can you find r and theta? Yes, you can. You did it on the warm-up. All right, so we've been doing this for a long time now. So r and theta. And theta, please keep it positive. Don't make it negative. Both r and theta, we want to keep it both positive. Okay, what is r? 2, very good. Theta is not 60. We can't still be doing 60. 60 is this part. From the 0. 300. Okay, please make sure that you don't make that mistake. Okay, r cis theta. So in that form, 2 cis 300. And then you're done. So that is changing from complex number to a trigonometric form. Okay, let's have you guys try one yourself. -3 minus 4i. The answer is 5 CIS 233.1 degrees. Okay, we're on page 22. Okay, so this formula is pretty easy to memorize, but also I'm going to give it to you on the test, so you don't have to memorize it. Yeah. Okay, so let's say you have two complex numbers, z1 and z2. Z always means complex number, a plus bi. So let's say that z1 and z2 are in trigonometric form, and you want to multiply these two complex numbers together. So z1 times z2, it's very easy. It is r1 times r2. So take the radius of both, multiply them together, and then cosine of the first angle plus the second angle plus I sine, and then first angle plus second angle. Okay, again, if you are going to multiply two complex numbers together and both of them are in trigonometric form, what you do is you take the radii of both, you multiply them together, and then you add the two angles together, and you're still in trigonometric form. So let's go ahead and practice this first before we go to division. Oh, okay, and then here, r cosine theta plus I sine theta, the shorthand is r cis theta. So you already know that, but just put that in your notes. All right, so for example, first one. Z1 is this, Z2 is this. We are going to figure out the product. Product means multiply. Okay, so Z1 times Z2. What is the radius of the first number? What's the radius of the first number?
25 square root 2.
Yeah, 25 square root 2. And then what's the radius of the second number? 14, very good. Okay, and then cosine of, what do we do with the two angles? Add them together, okay? And then what's the angle of the first number? Negative pi over 4, and then the angle for the second number? Pi over 3, good. Okay, and then plus I sine. Same thing. Okay, so let's just calculate this. $350 root 2 cosine of negative pi over 4 plus pi over 3 is pi over 12? All right, at this time, what you want to do is just check back at the equation to, at the question to see what do they really want you to find. They said that they want you to use an algebraic method to express the product of z1 and z2, which we did. We multiplied z1 and z2. It says it wants it in standard form. What is standard form? Ooh, that is not standard form. That's trigonometric form.
A plus bi?
Yes, a plus bi. Okay, so make sure you read the question to see what form they want. They don't want trigonometric form. Trigonometric form is r cis theta. They want standard form, which is a plus bi. So now we are currently in trigonometric form. How do we change this to a plus bi? It's actually really, really easy. Yeah, you just multiply everything together. Yeah, so yes, you expand it. So basically it's 350 root 2 cosine pi over 12. So you're going to use your calculator to figure out what that number is. Plus 350 root 2 sine pi over 12i. And what happens is this part is a and this part is b. So you just have to use the calculator to figure that out. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Please make sure your calculator is in radian and not degrees. When you see a pi in the calculation, you always want to use radian. Okay, making sure everybody has the same numbers. This one is 478.11 plus 128.11i. Okay, all right. If you have not started on the next one, please do the next one. All right, the second one, the answer is negative 12.684 plus 5.922i. Next, we are going to divide. Okay, dividing is very similar. So if you have z1 divided by z2, you take the first radius divided by the second radius. And then you're going to take the two angles. This time you're going to subtract. So theta 1 minus theta 2 plus I sine theta 1 minus theta 2. Okay, if you divide two complex numbers, they are in trigonometric form. This is the formula. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one together, and then we'll do some other practice. Everyone's finished copying? Okay, so let's go on to the next page. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out z1 over z2. Okay, z1 over z2. We're going to take the two radius and divide each other. So that is 2 root 2 over 6. And then we're going to take the two angles, the first one minus the second one. Okay, the last thing you want to do is just double check what kind of form they want. They also still want standard form. So they still want a plus bi. So go ahead and figure out the answer. All right, the answer is negative 0.46 minus 0.12i. All right, now let's talk about this one. This one's actually not that hard. Let's find z squared. Z squared means what? Z squared is z times what?
Z.
Yeah, very good. Z squared is z times z. And z is a complex number. So z times z, what would be the formula? So the product, this is like you're multiplying together, right? So product, z1 r squared, and then cosine of 2 theta, right? Theta plus theta, so 2 theta, and then plus I sine what? 2 theta. Very good. So z squared is z times z, which we just practiced product formula. So this is, how it works. Z cubed. Yes, this is going to be on the test. Z cubed. Z cubed is equal to what? Z times z times z, or z times z squared, right? And we just did z squared. So z times z squared. Right, z times z squared is z cubed. Z is this one, what we started with. Z squared is what we just calculated. So let's think about it. Z cubed would be, using the product formula, r to the what power? Third. Okay, and then z has the angle of what? Z has an angle of what?
Yeah.
Theta. And then z squared has an angle of 2 theta. So then when we multiply z and z squared together, you get 3 theta. Okay, can you guys see a pattern?
Yeah.
What's the pattern?
It's just whatever the power is.
Whatever the exponent is. So without doing much, can you figure out what z to the fourth is? Yes? Okay, go ahead and write down what you think z to the fourth is. Okay, z to the fourth is going to be what? R to the fourth cosine 4 theta sine 4 theta. Very good. Okay, so now let's write a formula for z to the nth power, where n is just any number. Okay, write down what you think the formula is. Okay, so what's z to the nth formula? R to the n. Yes, good. All right, let's go ahead and solve a problem. Find 1 plus I root 3 to the third power. Of course, this is a complex number, which means you could just FOIL twice. Okay? But we're going to use De Moivre's theorem. So what you just wrote down is De Moivre's theorem of basically taking a power to a complex number. Using De Moivre's theorem, we have to be in trigonometric form. So we need to change this into r cis theta. Okay, so go ahead and change 1 plus I root 3 into r cis theta. All right, turning this into r cis theta, what is r? 2, very good. What is theta? 60 degrees. Okay, so this is to the third power, so this is basically z to the third power. So that is 2 to the third cosine of 3 times 60 degrees plus I sine 3 times 60 degrees. And we want to just simplify the whole thing and see if it's going to be a very nice number, or do we need to change it to another form? Okay, so Murphy, you're a little confused. Yes. This is complex number cubed. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be 2 cubed, which is 8. Cosine of 3 times 60. 3 times 60 is 180. So cosine of 180 is -1. Okay, plus I sine of 180. Sine of 180 is 0. So this is -8. All right. Okay, let's look at the next one. This one you need to do on your own. So you have this complex number to the 8th power. So this is going to be impossible. Well, it is very hard to do if you want to FOIL. You're going to have to FOIL 7 times. And there's a bunch of I, which are going to turn into I squared. It's going to be -1. It's too confusing. So much easier if you change it into a trigonometric form and use the Morse theorem. It's a complex number to the 8th degree. All right, so again, change this into r cis theta first. All right, r for this problem is 1. Theta is 135 degrees. So then this whole thing is equal to 1 when you apply the formula.